At this exact moment, an energetic pulse is navigating the invisible web of reality, and it is locked onto you. You did not arrive at this exact juncture due to some calculated algorithm, a trending hashtag, or a mathematical probability. You are not here because you absent-mindedly tapped a screen to cure a fleeting bout of boredom while drifting through an endless digital ocean. The reason this transmission has intercepted your path is that a quiet, relentless vibration deep within your core has been broadcasting a magnetic resonance, a beacon emitting a profound pull for far longer than your waking mind can recall. This unseen pulse has finally breached a critical juncture. It has hit an exact spatial and temporal coordinate, rendering this encounter not merely a possibility, but an absolute inevitability. Make no mistake, you did not merely stumble across this space by sheer coincidence. You were pinpointed. Understand this clearly. You are not consuming mass-produced media, nor is this some trivial piece of spiritual amusement meant to be tucked away in your memory and pulled out only when convenient. What breathes through these sentences is an encrypted broadcast, a highly calibrated energetic frequency intended exclusively for a singular breed of soul. It is for the individual who has been anticipating something monumental, even while entirely unaware of what that something might be. If you have constantly sensed a heavy, undeniable undercurrent beneath the mundane routines of your daily existence, if there is a persistent reverberation within you that refuses to be quieted, if you carry an ancient intuition that predates language itself, then it is imperative that you engage with this message with an absolute, grounded presence you have scarcely tapped into before. Listen closely, because the reality I am about to share is as jarring as it is vital. You are delayed. You are running late. Pause for a second and allow that concept to settle deep within your chest before your conditioned mind rushes to label it as a sharp critique or a devastating failure. When I express that you are late, I am not implying that you have fallen short. I am not suggesting that a gateway has been permanently sealed off, or that the chance for your spirit to achieve its ultimate manifestation has dissolved into the abyss. In this vast, cosmic framework, your lateness is akin to a celestial body that has been hurtling through the dark void for millennia toward a flawless alignment, only now reaching the precise cosmic coordinate, where its brilliant glow can finally be perceived from a distant, darkened world. It is the exact threshold where an immense pressure, having compressed and intensified over eons, finally bursts forth into a perceivable, echoing sound. You are only late in the sense that a monumental force has been biding its time within the fragile, mortal vessel of your current human form, and that designated period of waiting has now definitively reached its expiration date. The ultimate inquiry echoing through the ether toward you is no longer a matter of your inherent capability. The universe is not asking if you are strong enough for the task at hand. The true question is whether you are finally prepared to cease viewing the colossal power you harbor as nothing more than an abstract concept, a beautiful philosophy you admire from a safe, detached boundary. We must confront what is genuinely unfolding within the parameters of your current physical reality. This message does not concern some distant future or an otherworldly dimension. It is directly addressing the flesh and bone you occupy in the very timeline you are walking today. You have been carrying a uniquely profound sense of fatigue recently, haven't you? This is not the type of tiredness that can be logically explained by your daily physical exertion or remedied by adding more hours of sleep. It is an immense, soul-deep lethargy that seems to reside in the very marrow of your bones. It is a lingering, unshakable feeling of isolation that shadows you, even when you are fully enveloped by individuals who offer you care and devotion. You possess an ethereal starvation that no material possession, achievement, or worldly pleasure can ever hope to satiate. You have experienced fleeting, agonizing moments where you nearly pierced the veil to touch something brilliant and radiant, only to be forcefully yanked back into the dull, monotonous, and uninspiring fabric of everyday society. Society has likely tried to convince you that this is a flaw in your psychological makeup. Perhaps they have labeled you as excessively dramatic or hopelessly hypersensitive. However, that is merely the surface level of a grand illusion. What you are enduring is absolutely not a malfunction. It is active suppression. It is a calculated, structural dampening of your authentic vibrational essence. You incarnated into a realm that operates on a frequency fundamentally antagonistic to your innate cosmic blueprint. Because you are an intricately designed advanced spiritual technology, your internal mechanism executed its exact survival protocol upon finding itself in a hostile, incompatible atmosphere. It contracted. It intentionally folded your most brilliant, high-tier frequencies deep inward to shield them from the heavy, suffocating density of this earthly dimension. You meticulously constructed dense layers of forgetfulness and armor, so that the most vital, radiant elements of your mission could withstand the darkness, keeping them preserved until the exact moment they were urgently required in the timeline of human evolution. All those long years of feeling lost, your cyclical near breakthroughs followed by crashing back into the mundane, none of these were ever mistakes or failures. They were crucial, strategic calibrations. Every single rotation of pain and struggle was actively forging the internal scaffolding of your physical vessel, expanding your biological and spiritual capacity to conduct the immense, high-voltage current that is right now beginning to surge through the global consciousness. But hear this. The era of preserving yourself through obscurity has concluded. A fundamental alteration has occurred within the fabric of this timeline, and the governing rules of the game have permanently shifted alongside it. The stifling weight you are experiencing is not imaginary. It is an authentic, quantifiable phenomenon, much like how a dense atmospheric layer actively jams a radio transmission. Surrounding you are entrenched systemic grids that actively profit from your diminishment. They thrive when you remain perpetually disoriented, keeping you just conscious enough to continuously purchase esoteric knowledge, yet sufficiently subdued so you never actually step into your power as a sovereign architect of spiritual reality. Yet, the most insidious form of this dampening is the one you have swallowed and made your own. It manifests as a chronic, habitual second-guessing of your innate wisdom. It is the automatic instinct to shrink your aura and relentlessly edit your truth, just to squeeze into societal boxes that were never designed to hold your magnitude. For far too long you have lingered in the wings, hoping an external authority would grant you the clearance to embody your infinite vastness. However, the Arcturian Council, along with the ascended intellects currently making contact, are intervening to clarify a vital truth. Cosmic authorization is not a present handed to you. It is a sovereign vibration you must aggressively seize and command. You have exhausted lifetimes inquiring about when the shift will happen, but the quantum matrix is now turning the spotlight on you, demanding to know who will step up. Envision the subterranean sanctuary of your inner being not as a physical cavern beneath the soil, but as the most profound, uncorrupted strata of your awareness, completely insulated from the chaotic static of mundane society. You serve as the prime ambassador for that hidden depth. You are an encrypted seed deliberately embedded into the heavy soil of this current epoch, tasked with grounding a divine resonance that this planet has lacked for millennia. That frantic push you feel, the physical tightness radiating from the center of your chest, is a direct communication from your soul's depths, declaring that the celestial portal of synchronization is wide open. It acts as an energetic alert from the universe, signaling that human consciousness has finally achieved the necessary vibration to absorb the monumental gifts you bear. Should you choose to hesitate further, clinging to the illusion that you require additional healing cycles or more preparation time, you are fundamentally misunderstanding the energetic physics of this precise now. Being prepared has absolutely nothing to do with feeling safe or comfortable. It is entirely about matching a specific resonance. You are ready simply because you are here. You are prepared precisely because you can viscerally feel the scorching friction of your obsolete identity turning to ash. We have entered the phase of quantum convergence. The sprawling, endless pathways of the lives you have not yet lived are rapidly coalescing into one definitive, empowered reality. The fully awakened, master-level iteration of yourself has ceased to be a mere possibility. It is now an absolute galactic mandate. That slow, agonizing diversion you have endured, the gradual wandering away from your highest destiny, can be rectified in a single heartbeat, provided you anchor yourself with absolute, unwavering presence. A minute shift in trajectory, executed in this exact moment, while the cosmic gateway remains ajar, yields tenfold the impact of a monumental struggle attempted after this stellar alignment fades. This dictates the severe urgency of our transmission. This explains the uncompromising directness of our tone. The epoch of whispering soft, comforting spiritual suggestions has expired. We have aggressively transitioned into a period of foundational, structural intervention. Right now, your bioenergetic system is dangerously attempting to operate two contradictory operating programs at once. The pure, authentic code you incarnated to radiate, and the parasitic silencing program built to keep you invisible. The sheer energetic taxation of sustaining this internal divide is the exact source of your relentless exhaustion. The hour of decision has arrived. You must permit your buried high-octane frequencies to erupt to the surface, completely ignoring how confusing or chaotic it may temporarily seem to your rational intellect. By cosmic design, you were forged as an ultra-sensitive instrument, built to be entirely porous to upper dimensional realms. Navigating a sluggish, low-vibration society made that extreme empathy feel like a dangerous weakness. However, as the Arcturian wavelengths amplify in their intensity, this exact permeability transforms into your ultimate superpower. Your very DNA is undergoing a radical, base-level architectural redesign. Every piece of alien programming you have unconsciously ingested the anxieties, the artificial boundaries, and the tragic conviction of your own insignificance is currently being vaporized by the sheer force of this energetic broadcast. This is the ultimate awakening you have been pleading for across countless incarnations. Stop gazing at the passage of time with a sense of mournful despair. Instead, look at the timeline and embrace the electric anticipation of an elite champion who has finally been beckoned from the sidelines into the main arena. The era of standby is terminated. The spell of forgetfulness is shattering. The transmission is flawless and undeniable. You are fundamentally a starseed, an emissary bearing the codes of galactic resolution. The designated hour for your grand emergence is not hidden in some distant tomorrow. It demands your attention right now, within the span of this current inhalation, in this fleeting flash of profound recognition, before the mundane quiet attempts to reclaim you. Your energetic signature is your ultimate weapon, and the universal matrix is holding its breath for your broadcast. Walk boldly into the brilliant illumination of your own arrival. Your residency in the shadows is permanently revoked. To truly comprehend the critical nature of this juncture and decipher the strange, heavy pressure compressing your chest, you must first grasp the esoteric mechanics behind what we term the unlived timeline. Your human journey is far from a straightforward linear march from birth to the grave. Rather, it is a highly intricate charting through a multi-dimensional matrix brimming with boundless, fluid potentialities. The moment you dropped into this earthly plane, you brought with you a highly specialized vibrational architecture, a precise frequency mission that no other soul could fuse into the human collective network. Yet, the physical environment you materialized into was saturated with such heavy chaos and dense static that it acted as an inherently hostile terrain to your pure cosmic blueprint. In order to ensure your biological and spiritual survival in such an abrasive setting, your brilliant energetic framework initiated a subtle maneuver we refer to as the drift. It is crucial to understand that drifting was never a personal failure on your part. It was, in fact, an incredibly advanced subconscious survival tactic designed to keep you intact. To survive in this dense realm, you permitted your core vibrational identity to blend into the chaotic static of human society. Yet, as the years have compounded, this subtle compromise has birthed an enormous energetic abyss. There is now a gaping void separating the artificial character you portray daily from the pure, unadulterated essence of your soul at its absolute center. Picture, if you will, a magnificent metropolis concealed entirely beneath the earth. This wasn't some gloomy dungeon of forgotten despair. Rather, it was a civilization of staggering technological elegance and radiant illumination, deliberately buried beneath a surface reality that simply lacked the vibrational evolution to handle such profound wisdom. The architects of this sanctuary understood a crucial truth. If their radiant frequencies and advanced modes of existence were exposed prematurely, they would be grossly misunderstood, or, worse, weaponized by the unready masses. Thus, they retreated into the depths. They preserved the sacred purity of their knowledge in the only ecosystem where it could remain flawlessly intact and uncontaminated. They bided their time across countless eras, observing the surface dwellers wrestle through the agonizing growing pains of conscious evolution. With every passing epoch, select emissaries were dispatched to the world above. These envoys weren't deployed to dominate, nor to preach from a pedestal of spiritual arrogance. Their mission was simply to implant higher frequencies through their sheer presence, their creative expressions, and their baffling, beautiful empathy. You are one of these elite emissaries, and that subterranean citadel is not a literal cavern made of rock and dirt. It serves as a profound allegory for the most submerged strata of your own psyche layers that have been humming quietly beneath your conscious awareness, waiting for the precise cosmic coordinate when humanity was finally equipped to handle what you carry. That critical milestone has now been breached. However, your prolonged energetic drift has plunged you into profound disorientation. In the complex physics of timeline trajectory, a mere 1-degree shift from your true north might feel trivial at first. But allow that minuscule deviation to stretch across years and decades, and the space between your current coordinates and your rightful destiny widens into a terrifying, agonizing gulf. This chasm is the root of the profound inner isolation you feel. It is the crushing realization that you have been navigating a labyrinth constructed by society's demands, completely out of sync with your soul's authentic architectural blueprint. You have been lingering on the sidelines, waiting for the external world to issue a guarantee of safety before you summon your brilliance from the deep. But universal logic operates in the exact inverse. The surface reality will never achieve harmony or safety until you boldly anchor the very frequencies you have been concealing. That inner, buried metropolis is currently buckling under catastrophic pressure because its light refuses to be quarantined any longer. The designated incubation phase was highly structured, but those old containment walls are now dissolving rapidly to facilitate your grand activation. The second major culprit behind your spiritual suffocation is a phenomenon we classify as frequency contamination. By virtue of your galactic ancestry, you were engineered as a profoundly receptive entity, built to effortlessly absorb and channel upper dimensional streams of data. This extreme porosity was meant to be your ultimate advantage, allowing you to interface with higher realms seamlessly. Tragically, in an earthly environment choking on low-vibration static, venomous emotional currents, and mass panic, this open architecture became a severe vulnerability. You have functioned as an energetic sponge, soaking up toxic vibrations that absolutely do not belong to you. You have inherited paralyzing anxieties, artificial ceilings, and a deeply ingrained sense of unworthiness, none of which originated from your eternal spirit's pristine knowing. These were downloaded directly from the dense field surrounding you, passed down by your caretakers, reinforced by cultural conditioning, and hardwired into you by media narratives. These absorbed, alien frequencies are currently polluting your bioenergetic mainframe like malicious malware infecting a highly sophisticated supercomputer. They are triggering critical system errors, severely throttling your processing speeds, and painting a life that, while technically yours, is entirely stripped of the vivid, electric hues of your authentic reality. This toxicity is the exact reason you feel you are operating at a mere fraction of your true magnitude. It is the root of that gnawing spiritual starvation that earthly remedies simply cannot cure. Your cosmic architecture is struggling to force a high-voltage, galactic mission through a frayed, low-voltage wiring system that has been completely jammed by societal static. That bone-deep exhaustion you are carrying stems from a critical drain we call dual broadcasting. Your energetic field is desperately trying to beam its organic, hyperdimensional signal while simultaneously fighting to muzzle that very same signal just to maintain a facade of safety in a primitive environment. Sustaining this agonizing internal schism is the single most depleting action a conscious entity can endure. You are, quite literally, waging war against yourself just to remain small. The energetic debt you have accrued from this fractured existence has hit absolute maximum capacity. You can no longer sustain the exhausting theatrics of this unlived life without your physical and emotional vehicles initiating a total, system-wide shutdown. But understand this clearly. This breakdown is not a defeat. It is a brilliant, fail-safe mechanism designed by your higher self to drag you forcefully to the ultimate crossroads. Within the intricate mechanics of timeline architecture, this point of choice is the exact threshold where a solitary, sovereign decision possesses the power to radically reroute the entire trajectory of your future. The vast majority of individuals passively wait for a catastrophic external shock to mandate a life alteration. However, the Arcturian Council, along with the advanced consciousnesses currently establishing a link with you, are attempting to convey a vital principle. The most profound, impactful trajectory corrections are executed, while the gap between your false self and true self is still manageable enough to bridge with a single deliberate stroke of willpower. You stand precisely at that juncture right now. The cosmic portal of alignment has swung wide open, and the restorative vibrations of the Pleiadian broadcasts are surging through the planetary matrix. These transmissions are meticulously engineered for one purpose: to disintegrate the alien programming and purge the vibrational toxins polluting your auric field. Visualize these incoming frequencies as a crystalline tuning fork vibrating next to a shattered gem. They supply the exact harmonic resonance your biofield desperately needs to organically restructure itself back into its pristine, unified, and radiant original state. Crucially, however, this energetic renovation demands your conscious, sovereign authorization. It absolutely cannot be forced upon you, because the law of free will governs this dimension above all else. That suffocating urgency tightening your chest is simply an alarm from the universal matrix, warning you that this prime window for realignment will not remain open indefinitely. Timeline physics operate with brutal precision. Within the energetic evolution of any planetary sphere, there exist fleeting epochs where profound spiritual activations occur almost effortlessly, purely because the cosmic tides are actively propelling them forward. We are navigating the epicenter of such an epoch right now, but rest assured, these tides will eventually turn. If you persist in the delusion that you must wait until you feel entirely ready or completely healed, you are profoundly misunderstanding what readiness actually means. True readiness is not the eradication of all anxiety, nor is it the finalization of every piece of internal shadow work. Readiness is merely the raw, sovereign choice to cease fighting against your own magnificent scale. The absolute certainty you are hunting for does not arrive before you make the leap. It solidifies only after the choice is made. The crystalline clarity you yearn for will only materialize once you pledge unyielding allegiance to your true frequency. You have treated your cosmic mandate like a fascinating hypothesis, but the era for idle speculation has expired. The universal grid is no longer asking for ideas. It is demanding physical embodiment. That buried, luminous metropolis within you is primed to breach the surface. The oppressive suppression grids are fracturing, and all the toxic foreign coding within you is being violently illuminated so you can consciously expel it. That agonizing sense of isolation you endured was not a punishment. It was the essential, necessary friction designed to make you so profoundly miserable that you would finally crave the raw truth over continuing the charade. Every fleeting moment of enlightenment, followed by a crushing return to the mundane, acted as a precise calibration protocol. It fortified the structural resilience of your energetic container so that you could eventually channel these massive restructuring frequencies without shattering into pieces. You were intentionally forged within the suffocating density of this earthly realm precisely so you would possess the strength to transmute it. The veil of forgetfulness is tearing, and the broadcast of your authentic identity is finally cutting through the worldly static. You are not merely a helpless passenger on this earthly ride. You are the very frequency that paves the road ahead. Your long, painful drift terminates in this exact moment. The ultimate threshold of choice is upon you. The cosmic aperture is open, and the upper councils are watching intently, waiting for the sovereign decree that will collapse the wave of your highest potential into your concrete, waking reality. You are no longer waiting on a sign from the universe. The universe is waiting on you to finally accept that your time in the shadows is over. The broadcast is yours to transmit. The mandate is yours to fulfill. The trajectory correction is yours to command, and you must execute it immediately, before this celestial convergence fades, and the heavy density of this realm once again swallows the roadmap to your sovereign truth. Every concept we have navigated together, from the physics of the unlived timeline to the intricate mechanics of vibrational dampening, has been guiding us to this ultimate climax of realization and embodiment. We are transitioning sharply out of the theoretical why and how, and violently arriving into the immediate now. This represents the third and most crucial stratum of our transmission, for this is the exact point where abstract philosophy transmutes into a living, pulsating truth embedded within your very cellular structure. We are crossing the threshold into the brilliant energetic blueprint that ancient mystics called the aura, which we now understand to be your unique galactic signature, the sovereign matrix of your ultimate capability. You have played the role of the wandering seeker for far too long, endlessly hunting for the next scrap of wisdom or the next guru to mend the illusions of your own brokenness. But the Arcturian intelligence, and all the higher beings observing this convergence, are stepping forward to declare that your days of seeking are permanently finished. It is time to step up and become the source. That chronic pressure compressing your chest, the undeniable sensation of a sleeping titan waiting for the command to wake, is the tangible, energetic proof of your impending sovereign activation. It is not an external gift you are waiting to catch. It is an internal power you are finally authorizing yourself to unleash. I need you to anchor this profound realization directly into your physical vessel right now, because a high frequency that remains ungrounded in the physical body is nothing more than a phantom thought. If your current environment allows, I want you to press both of your hands firmly against the center of your chest, layering one palm over the other, directly atop your breastbone. Focus intensely on the tangible, physical heat that immediately starts to build between the surface of your palms and your skin. Shut your eyes for a brief moment and channel a deep, unhurried, and intentional breath directly into that space beneath your hands. As you draw the air in, understand that you are not merely inflating your lungs with oxygen. You are inhaling the very essence of the universal matrix, the pure, unadulterated intelligence of the Arcturian and Pleiadian reconstructive wavelengths that are presently surging through the planetary grid. As you release the breath, visualize that same high-frequency energy, radiating outward from the center of your chest, passing through your ribcage, permeating your skin, and flooding the physical space around you. With every cycle of breath, envision this energetic aura growing increasingly brilliant, sharply defined, and harmonically balanced. You are not generating this force field from nothing. You are merely acknowledging the magnificent architecture that has always resided there, patiently waiting for the focused beam of your consciousness to turn the final ignition key. The cosmos is the ultimate, flawless observer. The very second you direct your awareness toward your own bioelectromagnetic aura, the universal field reacts by snapping your true frequency firmly into alignment. This represents your somatic ignition. It is the precise juncture where the witness and the subject merge into an indivisible, unstoppable force of genesis. While holding this state of deep harmonic coherence, I need you to embed a new psychological anchor into your awareness, a mantra designed to act as a structural failsafe for your nervous system whenever the old, paralyzing static attempts to infiltrate your mind again. Recite this internally, or speak it aloud if your environment permits. State over story. Allow the magnitude of that concept to penetrate deeply, Your immediate vibrational state in this exact second wields infinitely more power than your entire historical backlog of feeling disconnected or unworthy. The specific frequency you are commanding right now, within this single breath and this flash of total realization, dictates what your aura magnetizes and what your future timeline solidifies into, far more than the sum total of every trauma or setback you have experienced since birth. The quantum architecture does not calculate your trajectory based on past wounds or perceived shortcomings. It answers exclusively to your current, active resonance. This is arguably the most profoundly liberating revelation within this entire broadcast, because it guarantees that a complete course correction is available to you right now. Perfect alignment is accessible to you right now. You are not required to wait until the narrative of your human life is neatly resolved or flawless before you are allowed to occupy the throne of your own power. A raging storm never permanently damages the sky, and the heavy suppression of this world has never permanently shattered your core frequency. You are the infinite sky. The chaotic weather is merely a temporary storyline drifting through your airspace. Now, we must address the concept of the crown. In ancient, esoteric scriptures, a crown was frequently illustrated as a physical ornament denoting royalty or status. In reality, it was a precise, energetic schematic depicting a fully optimized human entity whose internal harmony had achieved a state of critical mass. To fully claim your galactic identity is to consciously don that energetic crown. It is the pure vibration of sovereignty, the unshakable, immovable conviction that blossoms when you finally comprehend that your inherent worth is not a performance you must perfect, but a fundamental, non-negotiable law of the universe. You were deliberately forged in the crushing density of this material plane so that you would possess the profound strength required to bear the weight of this cosmic authority. You are a designated frequency guardian, an entity capable of sustaining absolute internal coherence, even while the external reality descends into chaotic entropy. This duty is not a heavy cross to bear. It is your supreme playground for creation. When your energetic halo is blazing and your crown is firmly seated, you no longer need to exhaust yourself building defensive walls against the low-vibration chaos of society. Your ultimate protection is simply being so radiantly, unapologetically aligned with your true self that any incoherent or toxic energy simply cannot find a matching frequency within you to latch onto. Light does not wage war against the dark. It effortlessly occupies the space, and the dark simply ceases to exist. To firmly root this activation into the concrete reality of your daily existence, I am assigning you a 7-day operational protocol. This is how we generate undeniable, empirical data to prove your own latent magic, because the rational human intellect demands tangible proof before it surrenders its doubt. For the next 7 consecutive days, every single morning before you touch your phone, before you allow a single drop of external noise to penetrate your field, you will dedicate 3 minutes to this practice. Press your hands against your heart, take a full, deep breath, and issue a sovereign, commanding declaration of your frequency. State clearly, I am awake, I am aligned. My frequency is my absolute protection as you navigate your day. The moment you detect the old drift beginning to pull at you, the second you feel that familiar, heavy exhaustion, or hear the faint whispers of the old suppression programming, you must pause for one single, deliberate breath and snap back into the perspective of the observer. Pay close attention to the synchronicities. Rely entirely on that sudden, inexplicable intuition, and fiercely remind yourself that you are the captain charting the course, not a helpless passenger along for the ride. By the conclusion of this 7-day cycle, you will witness a startling pattern of precision unfolding in your daily life that cold logic will be completely unable to justify. You will observe the quantum field reacting to your newly elevated broadcast with a velocity and absolute clarity that will leave you breathless. You may be questioning why this specific activation is happening to you, and why it is occurring at this exact moment in time. It is because the overarching matrix of human consciousness has hit a critical tipping point. Right now, humanity is navigating a rare and incredibly delicate cosmic aperture. During this specific evolutionary window, the sheer amount of energetic force required to completely reroute the destiny of this planet has dropped to an unprecedented low. However, in order to successfully execute this monumental trajectory shift, the earthly grid absolutely requires a critical mass of ignited conduits, fully awakened entities exactly like you, who have unapologetically claimed their cosmic purpose and are embodying it with an intense, unyielding presence. You are not merely a passive bystander observing this global renaissance from the sidelines. You are the very spark designed to catalyze it. The Arcturian collectives have been meticulously monitoring your spiritual fortification for years, while Pleiadian resonances have been quietly weaving into your auric field, patiently anticipating this exact flash of total realization. The era of hesitation is officially terminated. The heavy veil of planetary amnesia is tearing apart at the seams. Erase the self-defeating narrative that you are almost prepared. You have arrived. The profound, absolute certainty you have been endlessly chasing will only materialize after you make your sovereign leap, never before it. Crystal clear vision will forge itself through your bold commitment, not through continued procrastination and hiding. Even while carrying all your lingering human insecurities and logical apprehensions, you are flawlessly equipped right now to cross this magnificent threshold. If you can physically sense the gravity of this revelation pressing against your heart center, if you can feel the electricity of this cosmic remembrance washing through your cellular structure like a rush of pristine, glacial water, then the hour has come to permanently anchor your signal into the global network. Drop down into the comments section below and encode this exact phrase: "My mission is active. My frequency is my absolute shield." Do not treat this as some trivial engagement tactic for a social media algorithm. Treat it as a legally binding, multidimensional decree. Channel the raw voltage of your intention out of your consciousness, down through your physical fingertips, and blast it directly into the digital matrix. By doing this, you are sending out a massive, undeniable flare to the rest of your Starseed collective, announcing to the unseen realms that you are finally online and fully operational. You are actively fusing your unique energetic signature with the thousands of awake and aware souls who have absorbed this exact broadcast. Together, we are weaving an unbreakable, luminous tapestry of global harmony that the decaying structures of the old paradigm simply cannot touch, let alone dismantle. Your specific wavelength is crucial. Your physical and energetic presence is the ultimate proof that the shift is real. As you transition back into the mundane, earthly currents of your daily routine, carry this profound, sovereign stillness deep within your core. You are the master navigator of your reality, and the cosmos is currently scrambling to reconfigure itself in direct response to your awakening. Hold your ground within your expanded field. Wear your energetic crown with immense pride, and never forget that your soul was specifically coded to dominate this exact moment across more lifetimes than your mortal mind could ever hope to tally. The universal gateway is wide open. The grand alignment has commenced, and you have finally picked up the celestial receiver. The subsequent broadcast, designed to pair seamlessly with today's awakening, is titled, "Your Frequency Just Spiked." It will map out the precise mechanics of how to harness, navigate, and direct the massive energetic momentum currently snowballing within your aura. Your tenure in the waiting room of life is over. Your grand cosmic objective goes live right now. Your energetic halo is blazing at an absolute peak of 11. You have flawlessly morphed into the exact, magnificent being you were always destined to become. Welcome back to your sovereign authority. Welcome back to the absolute truth of who you are. The sequence is complete. Your activation is total,